Today, we geek out about Dead Sprint. Hey guys, what's going on? This is Lee with Geek City USA here, and today we are going to talk about a game called Dead Sprint. Now, Dead Sprint is a zombie-themed game where you and your friends are fighting to be either the first person to reach the exit or the last man standing as you're trying to avoid the zombies and definitely avoid the horde. So we're going to take you over here, I'll show you how the game is played, and then we'll come back and I'll give you my thoughts on the game. All right, so this is Dead Sprint. Now, first of all, let me start by saying that this is a prototype copy of the game. So obviously these are not the final components, and also any kind of art and anything else is subject to change in time for the release of the game. So in Dead Sprint, your goal of the game is to either be the last person standing, and you are these characters here, or to be the first character to, or the first player to get out of the exit. So if I look here, just show what the exit. This is the exit tile, and you would want to be the first player to get to the exit spot on there. Now, typically when you set up, you would take this exit tile and randomly put it about 8 to 10 tiles down into this straight tile stack. And you could definitely put it further down if you want a longer game. However, for this demo, I kind of put it much closer to the top just so I can give an example of the gameplay. Now, in this game, you're also trying to outrun the horde here. And the horde is this long standee here, and every turn the horde is going to move, and if at any point the horde catches up with you, so if the horde were to end up here, those players are immediately eliminated from the game. Now in this game there are these regular zombies here, and you'll see they have a 4. Now the number in the upper left hand corner, that is the strength of the zombie. So when you are encountering the zombie, you roll a die, and if you roll this number or higher, you defeat them. So you'll see here too, there are also these other 3 zombies, and these are special zombies. Now every time you reveal a new tile, you will have spots on there for new zombies to be placed, and you have to put one special zombie on each new tile. So here are the special tiles. This is a Sploder zombie, and what this guy does is if he's destroyed, he would blow up and do damage to the tiles around him. So in this case, if he were here, and mind you, he couldn't be in the spot because these lines here are areas that you can't go. But if this zombie were here and he were destroyed, every spot around him would suffer damage. Now here we have the Brute zombie. Now the Brute zombie is a 6. So these are going to be pretty difficult to stop, hence the name Brute. And then finally, we have the Crawler zombie. And if you see, the Crawler is a little bit wider, and with the Crawler, when you place them on a tile, you are going to place them to take up 2 spots. So in this case, you could place them here and they could take up both spots this way. You could place them this way to take up both spots. And so if you were here, if a player went into either this location or this location, they would have to fight this Crawler zombie. Now in this game, there are 2 types of tokens. You'll see here there are weapons tokens, and they're valued +1 all the way up to +3, +1, +2, and +3. There are health tokens, which here's the first aid kit, and then this one here is adrenaline. This one right here. And what these do is at any time when you roll the die to fight a zombie, so let's say you're fighting here just a regular zombie, and you rolled a d6, let's say I rolled a 1 in this case, I would not be able to beat this zombie. However, if I had a +3 token, I could play this token and I would add that to my die roll, and that would allow me to defeat this zombie. Now these first aid tokens are very valuable because if at any point you are facing a zombie and you roll and you can't defeat that zombie, you can turn in a first aid kit, and what that would do then, you would move back to the spot on the board prior to where that zombie was. So in this case, if this zombie's here and you can't defeat him when you move into his square, if you back up, or you would have to back up, and you could play this token and you wouldn't die. You would be able to continue on in the game. And then finally, the adrenaline. What the adrenaline lets you do is after you move, and you're going to move by rolling this green die here, once you move, you can play an adrenaline token and go ahead and take another movement action. So this will help you to run ahead of your opponents or maybe squeak away from the zombies as you need to. Now there are also different cards that you're going to draw. So on your turn, prior to rolling, you will draw a card. However, you're only ever allowed to have 2 cards in your hand at any time. So if you have 2 cards in your hand, you need to play one or discard one before you're allowed to draw another one. And you'll see here, these are pretty self-explanatory. This one lets you kill a zombie. This one lets you detonate any sploder zombie on the board. And there's also where it says here, redeem before rolling to move. Then there's ones that'll let you trade it in to redeem a health kit, place a zombie somewhere, and there's a whole bunch of different kind, and they're very self-explanatory. Move +2, add 2 to your movement roll. And these definitely help you throughout the game. In fact, there's one, Zombie Guts, which is, I don't have it here, but it turns out to be very helpful because it allows you to bypass a zombie without having to fight them. And that can definitely be helpful as the game goes on because you are able to get through a zombie and then leave it there for your opponents to have to go through, which is definitely helpful. All right, so when you start the game, each player is going to start with 1 first aid kit. So we'll say this is player 1, this is player 2, and this is player 3. So we'll say orange, teal, and blue. And during the game, you're only ever allowed to have 2 health tokens, and the health tokens are these 2, both the adrenaline kit and the first aid kit, and 2 weapons tokens, and those are self-explanatory here. So you can't ever have more than that. However, if you come across one, say there's one sitting on the board here, when you cross it, you can pick it up, and if you are already at max, let's say this player already had 2 adrenalines, like let's say that this player had this, and he crossed over this, well, he can replace this health token with the other one and just drop that on the tile where he is and continue moving. All right, so let's give a quick example of gameplay. So let's say I'm this orange player, so I will go first. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a card, and I'm going to look at it here. And Necromancer Master, place a special zombie on any unoccupied space. You would redeem this before rolling to move. So this is a pretty good card, but I'm going to want to save it till later in the game. So I'll go ahead and place this over here with that for player 1. And then you will roll to move. So let's see, player 1 will move 2. All right, so we will go 1, and obviously we can't move forward anymore. And by the way, you can never move diagonal. You can only move orthogonally, left, right, up, down. So I've moved 1, and now I have no tile here. So I have a choice. I can either draw from the straight stack or the corners. So typically, at least when we played, we usually use the straights unless we started to run out of room on the table, or maybe somebody wanted to kind of make things a little more difficult, because when you go through the corners, and I'll show you that, they get to be a little bit tight. So anyway, so here we'll go ahead and put a straight one down, and you can put them down either this way or this way. And then when you put them down, you're going to see these Z icons, and you're going to put a zombie on each spot. Now again, one of those has to be a special zombie, so either a sploder, a brute, or a crawler. And then here, the +1, you're going to put one of these +1 weapons tokens. And then here you see a +2, so you'll put a +2 weapons token on that square. And then here you'll put an adrenaline. So being the orange player, I'm going to put it like this. And I'm going to put the adrenaline token here. And then I'll go ahead and fill up the +2 weapon and the +1 weapon. And then I'll put 3 zombies. So I'm going to put just a regular zombie here because I'm thinking maybe I'm going to go this way because I want to get this adrenaline kit and this gun here. And then I'll just put a brute here and then put another regular zombie right here. And then I'll continue my turn. So my second step is here, and I will pick up this adrenaline and I'll put it in my supply, and that would end player 1's turn. Now we're going to go for player 2. So first, player 2, the teal player, is going to draw a card. We have Sploder Bomb, detonate any sploder on the board. Well, there isn't one on the board right now, so I'm going to hold on to this card. And then I will go ahead and roll to move player 2. So we'll roll. I rolled a 4, so I'll go 1, 2, I am going to go, you can always move through somewhere, so 3, and then we'll go into here for 4. Now, player 2 now has to fight this zombie. So the zombie is a regular zombie, so it's just a 4. So on the attack die, I just have to roll a 4 or higher. And I rolled a 5. So this zombie is removed from the game, and we are good. Now we'll move on to player 3 here. We can draw a card. Card Thief. Steal another player's card without peeking. Redeem before rolling to move. Now this is pretty cool, and this is good to save as the game goes on, especially if you run out of weapons cards and stuff, or if you got somebody that seems to be a little bit too excited about what they drew. So this is a good one to hold on to. So we'll hold on to that. So then the blue player is going to roll to move. You rolled a 4. So So we're gonna go, boy, 1, 2, 3, and now you always have to move the max you roll. So I'm gonna go 4, and then I'm gonna have to face this brute. So now I'm gonna show you kind of how this works when you fail a roll. So I'm gonna roll here. Oh my goodness, I rolled a 6. What are the odds of that? I was gonna show how I would have had to use a health kit. So basically, if I would have lost, I would have been forced to go back to the last space I was at, and then I would get rid of my health kit. But in this case, I defeated the brute, and I can remove him from play. So now, after all 3 players, or all the players who are playing, take their turn, then the horde gets to move. And with that, there's a special die with the numbers 1, 2, and 3, and somebody will roll that, and the horde will move that many spaces. Now, where this gets interesting is you might say, I'll just run past all these zombies and no big deal. Yeah, that might seem like a great idea, right? You don't have to fight them and you're good to go. However, if there are zombies in the way, and let's say I rolled a 2. Yeah, look, I rolled it. This horde would go 1, 2, and then for every zombie it crosses, it would get to move 1 additional. So it would go 3, 4. So you see how instantly a horde can catch right up. So if you're not clearing the zombies and taking a risk, that horde is going to be right on your tail sooner than you think. So anyway, we'll move him back here. We'll get these guys out of the way, and then we can continue on. So now we'll go back to the orange player, who is player 1. We have 1 card, so we're going to go ahead and draw a second card. And we have weapon +1. So I'm actually going to immediately turn this in because it says redeem before rolling to move. So as the orange player, I'm going to turn that in, and I'm going to take one of these +1 weapons tokens, which will let me add 1 to my weapon roll. Now you'll see I have 3 tokens here. I have 2 health and 1 weapon, so I'm okay. I can still take 1 more weapon. So now player 1 is going to roll to move, and we rolled a 2, and we can go 1, 2, and he's going to pick up this weapon, and that will end his turn. Now on to this player, player 2, the teal player. He's going to draw a card. He's got an insta-kill. Kill any single zombie instantly. Redeem before rolling to attack. So we're going to hold on to that, and player 2 is going to roll. He rolls a 3, so he's going to go 1, and now we will go ahead and reveal another tile here. And actually, let's, because of the tightness here, let's go ahead and reveal a corner tile. So if you see here, the corners are really tight. There's not a whole lot of space for movement, and a lot of bad stuff happens in these corners. So we can put this corner down, and he has to put 2 zombies. One of them has to be a special, so we'll put a sploder here, kind of out of the way. You know, sploders are a little scary, so we don't want to face those if we don't have to. Put that there, and we can put a health kit here. So I think he moved 1, so we can go 2, and now he has to fight this zombie. And he rolled a 5, so that zombie is dead. So that was what, 1, 2, 3. He'll pick up this health kit. And then, look at that, we'll take another tile for 4. We'll draw this tile here, and, well, I don't think I want to put it like that, because I don't want to walk right into a zombie, personally. So I'll put it this way. And I'll add a +2 here, and a couple of zombies. So we'll put a brute here, and then the rest will be regular zombies. And then we'll finish his turn. I can't remember if we rolled 3 or 4. No, that ends his movement. So now we'll go ahead, let's kind of move this out of the way. We'll go with player 3, the blue player. He can draw a card. Necromancer Novice, place a normal zombie on any unoccupied space. Reveal before moving, rolling to move. Whoops, we'll just throw that there on the floor. He'll hold on to that, and we will roll for him. So he rolls a 3 as well. So we will go, well, he'll go 1, he'll pick this up. Actually, no, he won't go that way. So I don't want to go to a dead end, so we'll go 1, 2, 3. And now he's behind everybody else, and he might be in trouble with the horde coming. So now we'll roll for the horde. We roll 3. So you see how quick the horde just moved. So let's move this out of the way. And then let's pretend that it's further in the game. So we'll go back to player 1. Player 1 being orange. We'll roll to move. He rolls a 3. He'll go 1, and he's going to pick up this +2 weapon. and he will drop this +1 weapon. And actually, we forgot to draw a card. So he only has one card, so we'll go ahead and draw this card. It's a weapon +2. We'll save it because we were picking up that weapon there. So we'll go ahead and put this in our stack. So we went 1, then we'll go 2, and he will fight this guy here. So we'll roll one of these. 4, he kills it. So he's in good shape. And then his last movement, heck, he's going to go ahead and he's going to go 3 right into the zombie again. So we'll roll here, and he rolls a 2, so he failed, but we've got this +2 here, so he's going to go ahead and discard this, and this zombie dies. Now, he's going to turn in his adrenaline that he drew on an earlier turn, and he's going to go ahead and roll again to move. So he gets to move a whopping 2 more. But so we need a new tile here. Oh, and look at that, the exit already. Like I said, let's pretend we're further down. So we're gonna go ahead and it's gotta get placed like this. So he has to place a special zombie and a regular zombie. So we're gonna put the special, we're gonna use a crawler, and we'll just put him here like so. And we'll put the regular zombie here. Now there's a whole box of these zombies. There are a ton of them with this game. So don't think that we're limited to what we have. There's probably 100 zombies in here of all different sorts. You know, more special zombies, more regular zombies, all over here. So for table space, I only have a few of them out right now. But okay, so now he gets to move. So he rolled 2, and what do we get here? We have a +3. So that's a pretty good weapon, pretty good thing to have on the exit. So, all right. So he's gonna move his 2. He's gonna go 1 into the regular zombie, and he will roll here. And he rolled a 3, but we have a +2, so we'll discard that. So even though it overkills, at least he's good. And then I don't feel confident taking on the crawler right away, so he's gonna move here for 2, and he will pick up this +3. Now the next guy being the teal guy, let's see, he has 2 cards in his hand right now. I guess, boy, he's just going to pass. He's not going to pick up a card this turn. And he will go ahead and roll to move. So let's see where Mr. Teal goes. A whopping 3. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3. And he can actually go ahead and pick this up. Now player 3 already has 2 cards. So let's see. He is going to play Card Thief because I want to draw another card, so I have to play one of these cards. So I'm going to go ahead and play Card Thief and take a card from player 1. So we'll just randomly take this one. And look, he gets a weapon +2. So he's actually going to play this card, which will then let him draw the +2 weapon, so he can hold on to that token. And now he can draw a card because he only has 1. And it's another weapon +2. So we'll hold on to that. And now we go for player 3 and we'll roll. He rolls a whopping 1, so he goes there. And now all 3 players have gone, and the horde will move. The horde will move 1. And then you continue, and obviously at this point it looks like pretty good that player 1 will probably run off the edge and get to the exit. Maybe they don't roll so well this next turn, or they get knocked back because they can't beat the crawler, and the horde catches up with this guy and kills him. Who knows? But that is a general overview on how Dead Sprint plays. So we're going to take you back up top, and I will give you my thoughts on the game. All right, so that was Dead Sprint. So let's start by talking about the components of the game. So this was a prototype copy of the game, so the final art and components are subject to change. But I will say, as far as the presentation goes, the tiles were a good size. Everything fit well. There was a ton of randomization, so sometimes you would get a tile that had a lot of zombies on it and a little bit of stuff. Other times you'd get a tile that had a decent amount of zombies and maybe a lot of blocks to it. So there's always a randomness to that as far as different options that you had, as well as with the corners and the straight tiles. You could do a lot of different layouts to the map, and we found ourselves as you go, like when we played our first few games, we would use the straight tiles till we got maybe to a point in the table that we had to turn it, so then we would use the corners, come over a little bit, and then go back up. But the more we played this game, we started finding ourselves doing things to kind of mess with our opponents. So we might be coming towards a corner and coming straight and want to throw down a corner card because it makes it a little bit tighter and a little more difficult. and there's a lot more that happens in a tight corner. So I appreciated the options that were there with the game as far as the different layout. There were a ton of zombie standees. Each one stood out. You could tell at a glance whether it was a regular zombie or whether it was one of the special zombies. You didn't have to look to figure that out. You could just tell at a quick glance, and it all worked very well together. So let's talk about the gameplay in the game. So at a high level, the gameplay is very simple. You're rolling to move, and then you might pick up some stuff, might fight some zombies, and then you're going to move the horde and continue on. But at its heart, the gameplay of this game is wonderful. We have had so much fun, and I'm getting kind of ahead of myself here, spoiler for the end, but we have enjoyed this game so immensely. The gameplay is engaging because anything can happen. So you might roll well and you're moving and cruising and blazing through the zombies, or you might roll poorly and the horde's catching up. Your opponent might kind of put some zombies in front of you, make a exploder blow up. So there's a lot of table interaction, and the gameplay, it's easy to catch on, and it's fun. It flows so well, and there's so much energy and excitement to the game. So let's talk about the audience of this game. So this is a game that I think really spans across all sorts of gamers. I was able to play this with my oldest son, even my middle child. He got a kick out of it. All the way up to our heavier gamers were able to play it as well. And I also think as long as you're okay with the zombie theme, because it's cartoony zombie, it's a game that's accessible to kids, and it's accessible to, like I said, heavy gamers, non-gamers, because it plays almost like it could be played as a party game, because there's so much interaction at the table, because there's so much excitement, because everything that you do is obviously super important because you're racing zombies, but then you're also rooting against your opponents, and you're very captivated with their moves. So it's definitely a game that I think would appeal to a wide array of people, both heavy gamers and non-gamers alike, and really all ages. So let's talk about the replayability factor of the game. So because it fits for such a wide array of people, as well as all sorts of age groups, and the board is always changing, the games play fairly quickly, say half an hour, sometimes longer, sometimes shorter. There's a good amount of replayability here, and this is a game that we ourselves have played repeatedly. I've had friends call to say, hey, I got nothing going on, let's get together and play some games for an hour or two, and which is not uncommon for us, but the call then says, hey, let's play the Dead Sprint again. Can you bring that? So I'll bring that by and we'll play through it. And we have thoroughly enjoyed it every time. It's not a game that we've gotten tired of, because the game does not feel like it slogs through at all. It's a game that it moves, and then it's over. And yeah, you might get eliminated because there's player elimination in this, and typically I shy away from that, but the way the game flows, it's okay. It's in the spirit of the game, and because you're rooting against your opponents, it's even to get eliminated, it's fun, and then you can control the horde. So all in all, we have really enjoyed this game. This is a game that we've played over and over again. I love the fact that it's accessible. We play it with our family. We could play it with our heavy gamers, everybody in between, and we have gotten a lot of play out of this game in the time that we've had it. So I would definitely recommend you check this out. All right, guys, that's it. I'm Lee from Geek City USA. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Definitely like and comment down below. Subscribe to our channel if you don't, and check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I'd love to interact with you guys there. So send me a message, and we will see you next time.